Hi guys, once again, welcome to the Christian Banter podcast. Mine is to first of all really appreciate you guys. I think our last episode was at 10k views. Thank you so much guys. We see you on our social media handles, on our TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and also on Spotify. Thank you for following, thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing. And this is just me culminating season 2. So we have wrapped up season 2, and this is just my final thoughts on what that season was about and what I thought, and also to just acknowledge some of the comments and try to answer some of the comments that you dropped on our videos. Now, we usually do this seasons, and we usually do 6 episodes, and then the final episode, which is the 7th, is just me answering and giving my thoughts, right? So let's get right into it. Some of the comments that we had were really just appreciation, and I appreciate you guys. You're always there psyching my guests. I really appreciate that. And then I have seen some questions that I would like to answer. So someone left a comment and said, I left church but not God is misleading to Christians because church is Christ himself. How then do you leave Christ and not God? And also another person who asks a similar question is, does it make sense for someone to leave church because someone hurt them? Do you leave your job when someone hurts you? These are very good questions, and I will answer them. Currently, church is recognized as a building in which believers, congregate, right? And by the law, legally, the church is where believers go to. So that is why when we talk about church, we're discussing broadly where believers or how believers meet together. But we do acknowledge that according to the Bible, that the church is Christians themselves. And that's why in the conversations we've had, we've been discussing about specific encounters and experiences amongst Christians, right? I hope that answers your question. Part 2 of that question is, do you leave your job when someone hurts you? Yes. When you have a toxic job, leave. Absolutely. I am pro leave that toxic job. However, if there is a way you can make a change, if they are willing to make a change so that that situation and the environment can be better for you, then absolutely, you can stay if there is change. But yes, if a job is toxic, you don't need to stay there. We also had another question, a comment, and it says, before people stop going to church, they should ask themselves why they first went to church. Seeking God in his holy place should be the reason as to why we attend church. For if God stopped loving us and giving us his grace, we would be in deep trouble. Jesus spent time in his Father's house from a young age, and he set a perfect example for all of us believers. That is true. Honestly, that is not, I don't see what I should answer there, but I do acknowledge that, yes, seeking God is the main thing. Unfortunately, most of us are learning and unlearning what seeking God is, what a relationship with God looks like. And that is why you experience such encounters, because hurt people. So you encounter certain congregants who misrepresent Christ for you, as our last guest, Mikal, has told us, who misrepresent Christ for you. And so you go with the wrong definition of God. But when you know better, you do better. Right. Last but not least, Ruth asks, should going to church serving etc feel like a duty? This is an interesting question. And the truth of the matter is that if you don't have the right environment to do something, even if it's something that you love, it's going to start feeling like a burden. But we have a duty to serve Christ, not people to serve Christ. How you choose to serve Christ is up to you. And some people choose to serve Christ by serving in the church. So it is a duty, not to people, but to God. It's your way of evangelizing. It's your way of pushing ministry and pushing the gospel of Christ. So it is a duty, but it shouldn't feel like a burden. If it does, then you need to reevaluate and see what you have done wrong or what is going wrong and how that can be remedied. And then we have another question and or comment, and it says, actually it's a shout out, right? It says, if you love Jesus, your most interesting thing is to please him and learn from him, his character and how he operates, and all this should be wrapped with love. If no love, then everything else you do doesn't show love, and that's your own doctrine. You should operate in every gift in love, prophecy in love, word of knowledge in love, and everyone who's a representative of Jesus should have love. Where there is no love, Jesus is not present. Love is what binds us together with a lot of peace, no fear, no condemnation, and no feeling of like you're not enough. If you feel that way, that's not your place. Jesus is love. Perfect way to close out the comments. Thank you so much all. And now I'll endeavor to sort of give my own thoughts on just what the season was and what I thought about it. Is your faith still valid? Yes, 100%. Remember, your goal is to have a relationship with Christ. People are just as a by the way. So yes, even if you feel disconnected, it could be because of the experiences you have had or other people have had in the church and or with congregants, and as a result, you don't feel like you connect with them. But if you have a relationship with Christ, then 100%, you're still a Christian, you're still a believer. And I still encourage you sooner or later to reconnect with believers who align with what you believe in, which is Christ. Listen, Christ experienced this the most. I think by the time he was even going on his own cross, being crucified, these people didn't apologize. The Pharisees, the Sadducees, all those E's, they never apologized. So if our goal is to be like Christ, then we need to understand that forgiveness is about your relationship with Christ and what he has taught you, and not how people react to the things you do or don't do. So don't stay around waiting for people to ask for forgiveness, but forgive them and ask God to help you just move on. Healing is not linear. To be honest, I am not an expert in answering that question. For some people, healing means moving away from the whole situation altogether. And for some people means reconnecting again and trying to redefine. And for some people means fighting these people head on and trying to change these systems. Whichever the situation, healing is not linear. The goal is for you to maintain and defend your relationship with Christ. Remaining fixated on Christ. Fix your eyes on Christ at all times. People will change, situations will change, churches are not it, but remaining fixated on Christ. He is the only constant thing, and your relationship with him matters the most, more than anything else. Just hearing these stories, I never actually asked my guests beforehand the full extent of the story. I had ideas, but I didn't want to hear the story beforehand. So I was hearing these stories as you guys were hearing them. So it was really interesting, and also just seeing the resilience, because with all of them, I see resilience. I see them choosing themselves and choosing happiness. So for me, it was just the stories unfolding, and then also later on seeing you guys like interacting with the conversations on our socials. Man, it was so cool, like just getting to see what your thoughts are. Yeah. Whew. You know, we shot at a very busy time in the year because it was Q1. So you can imagine people were busy with work and everything. We had to reschedule so many times with all my guests, actually, all of them. And we had to also look for a timing. Sometimes we had to shoot on Sunday. Sometimes we had to shoot from 6 p.m. because that's when my guests are available. But all in all, I really loved the commitment. Absolutely. Church heart for me is misrepresentation of the facts to suit people. And then these misfacts have been given to people, and that's what they have carried home. Church heart also stands for the arrogance that people carry in their hearts when they're dispensing information or when they're handling congregants or believers. Church heart also represents for me pride, when people refuse to evolve and they refuse to be convicted by Christ, and as a result, they transfer that to other people. Church heart for me is when people refuse to be held accountable for the atrocities and the abuses that they continue to do, and as a result, they transfer the guilt and the shame to the victims instead of they as the perpetrators accepting that they've done something wrong. So church heart for me is what the perpetrators have done and what they're trying to convince the victims that it's their fault instead of they as the perpetrators. All right. Bye. That marks the end of season 2. See you in season 3.